Hi, and welcome to part 3 of Creating an 18th Century Men's Shirt series. In part 1 and 2, we finished creating our shirt in Marvelous Designer. And by the way, if you didn't watch them, I will leave the link of part 1 and 2 for you in the description below. In this part, we will start refining the shirt color and the sleeve cuff using Marvelous Designer to create a more realistic, appealing, classical shirt model. So let's get started. First, let's check the color style that we will use in our shirt. As you can see in this reference image, I will go with the color style which has a small fold like this, which will make the shirt suitable for adding in a cravat later on. Now we are in Marvelous Designer, and in part 1 and 2, we have created our shirt. Now we'll start refining our shirt. First of all, I will select my cutting pattern and I will delete it, and I will start by refining my color. I will select my color, left click, unstrengthen and unsolidify. Then I will go to edit sewing and I will select this sewing and delete it. Now our color is not closed, and if I hit the simulation button like this, we'll see that it is opened. Now we want to create our button and buttonholes which will connect the two sides of the color together. Here from the 3D window, go to the button menu and begin creating our buttonhole. We want to create our buttonhole on this side of the color. This side will be this side in the 2D window. So I will start by adding my first color and then go to select the move button and select my first buttonhole, and from this menu I will go to buttonhole tab and select my buttonhole texture and start adjusting it. I will select this shape. I will go with the more classical one and I like this one, and then I will adjust its width to 1.2 centimeter. Now I have created my first buttonhole. Then I will Control C, Control V to copy it, and I will place it beneath the first one. Now I will select both of them. I will copy them, Control C, and paste, Control V, and place them in the opposite side of the color, like this. Then I will right click and convert to button. Now we have created our button. From the same menu, we will go to button and select our button and start adjusting it. I will go with more classical shape. I like this one. I will adjust its width to 1 centimeter and its thickness to 6 centimeter. And here we are. Then I need to connect the button to the buttonholes, and I can do this from the button menu. Select fasten button and start connecting the button to the button, its corresponding buttonhole, like this. Before I hit the simulation button, I will go to select the button and I will select both button and uncheck the collision option so it won't collide with the shirt pattern. Now I can hit the simulation button like this, and here we are, just small tweaking like this, and I will adjust the position of my buttonhole. I stop the simulation, start adjusting. I will move them. I will move the buttonhole slightly toward the edge. The same thing with the buttons. I will move them a little bit like this toward the edge, and I think I will move them all in this direction. Okay, move them all down a little bit in down direction like this. Now I will hit the simulation button again. I think I need them to move a little bit toward the edge of the, so I'll stop the simulation and I will select my buttonhole like this, and I will move them a little bit toward the edge and hit the simulation button again. Okay, that's good. Now after I have connected the two sides of the color with the buttons, I need to make this color to be a double layer color. This means that I need a layer of fabric beneath this layer. So to do so, I will select my color pattern, move it a little bit up like this, and right click and layer clone under like this. Now I have created a second layer beneath my layer. In the 3D mode, I will left click and flip normal. Now I can hit the simulation button again like this. And here we are. Now our color is more appealing, more realistic, and more strengthened. So as you saw in the reference image, I want to have a fold at this edge like this. Like this. I want it to fold like this, a small fold like this. To do so, I need a helper, and this helper will be an internal line in this area. So I will go to my color pattern, go to edit pattern, select this segment, right click and split. I think 3 centimeter is good, and press OK. Then I will select this segment and split, and I will go with 7 centimeter length. Now I need to connect those vertices with an internal line. So go to create internal line and connect those vertices together and hit enter. Now we have created an internal line like this, and due to symmetrical pattern, the same thing will happen in the layer beneath it. So from edit pattern, select this segment and start adjusting its folding angle. I will adjust this folding angle to be 360, and we need a high folding strength. Let's go with 50. Then we will select the other segment, this one, which is the one beneath it here, and I will give it a folding angle of 10 and a folding strength of about 20. Okay, now let's hit the simulation button and see what will happen. And here we have it. We have the fold that we were looking for. Now I'll stop the simulation and I will do the same process for the other side of the color. Now from in the edit pattern, select this segment, split. I think this time I won't go with 3. I will go with 2.5 because I want the segment to be higher in this side. So I will go with 2.5, press OK, and select this segment and split, and I will go with 7 centimeter like this. Now I will create an internal line between those vertices like this, and we have created our internal lines. The same thing, I will select this from edit pattern, will select this segment and start adjusting its folding angle to 360 and a folding strength of 50. Then I will select the one beneath it. I will give it a folding angle of 10 and a folding strength of 20. Then let's hit the simulation button and see what will happen. Okay, great. Now we have our two small folds. Now our color is suitable for adding a neck cravat, and it is much more appealing right now. Now, if you can see, we have a sharp transition between the upper and the lower layer of our color. I need to have a smoother transition between the two layers. And I can do this by, first I will select those vertices and I will delete them. Since I don't need them, I only needed them to adjust the length of our internal line. Then I will select the upper pattern and right click and remove link editing. Then I will select this segment and this segment and right click and choose merge. Now we have created a single pattern for the color. Before I do anything else, I will go to create an internal line between this vertex and this vertex and hit enter. Now we can simulate, hit the simulation button, and nothing changed. Still having the sharp transition, but we have a new opening in our color. So let's stop our simulation and start sewing this hole in the color. So we will use free sewing. We need to sew this part with this part and this part or this segment with this segment. Let's hit the simulation button again and the holes are closed. It's just a little adjustment for this fold. Okay, nice. Okay, now I still have the sharp transition. To have a smoother transition, I will go and select our center segment that we have created and then right click and we'll choose offset as internal line. We will offset as with a distance of 0.1 and number of offset 2, and I will uncheck the extend option and press OK. Now we have created two new segments above our central segment. Then I will choose our center segment again and I will select it, right click and offset as internal line with the same entries, but this time I will check the reverse direction and press OK. Now we have created 5 segments in the center of our color pattern. I will select all of them and I will uncheck the fold rendering. Now when I press the simulation button and I will hide my internal lines like this, and you can see that we got it. The smooth transition between the upper and the lower layer of our color. Now our color is more realistic, more appealing, and in a perfect shape. Yeah. Now, after we have refined our color, we'll start refining our sleeve scuff. Now we will start refining our sleeve scuff. So we'll start by deleting the sewing that is connecting the cuff. And now when we hit the simulation button, we will see that the cuff is no longer closed. Now we'll start adding our button and buttonholes. So from the button menu, go to buttonholes and start creating our first buttonhole like this. Then go to select button, select the new buttonhole, and be sure that we are selecting the classical one we are using. Then we will copy the same buttonhole over itself like this, then right click and convert to button. And the same thing, be sure that we choose the classical one we are working with. Now we have created a button over a buttonhole. I will select both of them and Control C, Control V to copy them and place them in the opposite side of the cuff, like this. Now I need to connect the button with the buttonholes, so I will go to fasten button and I will connect this button with this buttonhole, and I will connect this button with this buttonhole. Okay, before I run the simulation, I will select the both buttons and I will uncheck the collision option so they won't collide with the cuff pattern. I think one of the connection, let me do the connection again. Okay, that button with this buttonhole and this button with this buttonhole. Now let's exit this mode and hit the simulation button, and here we are. And as you can see, we are going with the classical version of the sleeve cuff. It still needs some adjustment, and we will add another row of buttons. So I'll stop my simulation and I will go to selecting my buttons. I will move them a little bit toward the edge, slightly toward the edge like this, and the other one too, slightly toward the edge like this. Then I will select all of them like this and move them upward like this, then Control C, Control V to copy them. And I think I have to, okay, here we are, and place them beneath the first row like this. Now when I hit the simulation button, everything is as we expected. Now after I have created our buttons, we need to make the cuff to be a double layer. So I'll stop my simulation and I will select my cuff pattern and right click and choose layer clone under like this. Now I have cloned my pattern below the first pattern and go to selection mode. I will select it in the 3D view, right click and flip normals like this and hit simulation again. And here we have a more rigid cuff with a classical style buttons, and I think it looks great. I'll stop my simulation and I will delete the other side cuff and Control D this cuff to create. I have to create a symmetrical pattern with sewing, so I will take the upper layer like this, put it in place, and I will hit the simulation to connect with the other parts. Where are my buttons? I need to connect them. This, like this one be connected with this buttonhole like this, and this one will be connected this one. Let me hit the simulation button again. Okay, great. Now everything is in place. Okay, now let's stop the simulation and clone our layer under like this, and hit the simulation button again, and here we have it, the cuff of the opposite sleeve. Now we have refined our cuff and our, let me close the internal line in the 3D window. Now I have refined our cuff and our color. Now I will start adding an additional layer below the opening in the front part of the shirt to strengthen it and give it thickness to be more realistic and more appealing. So this is the end of part 3. In part 3 we have refined our shirt color and the sleeves cuff. And in part 4 we will start by refining our shirt opening, and we will add the top stitching. So hope you have enjoyed our video, and if you like our video, please like and subscribe to our channel, and see you later. Bye.